Okay. I heard from Rabbi Teichtel that you learned until the Birkat Torah, but I want to summarize a little bit. It is very, very important for everyone to know, and when I said everyone, I mean everyone with no exception, that life is very good, even though that not always we see it and not always we feel like that. But we have to know that it is reality. Doesn't matter what happens in life. Every person is having their own challenges and their own questions and their own difficulties. But the way that Hashem creates us is in such a way that we have to know, doesn't matter what happened. He wants us to know that the future, and the future means now, starting now, the future is going to be very good. Now, many people are having a problem that they want to find solutions for their own life in a way that they understand. And unfortunately, we are very limited. Hashem gave us mind, and we have to remember, why is Hashem giving us mind? In order we should use it in the way that He wants us to use it. Many people are using mind in the way that they understand, and that's why they're getting lost. Things are happening in life that they feel that nothing is going in the right direction. So the first step for everyone to know is that Hashem gave us mind, and Hashem wants us to know that we should remember that He is with us. Even if we don't know how is it possible, He is not asking us to find this solution right away. He is asking us to remember that He is with us, and He will give us the right direction. Doesn't mean it will happen right away. But Hashem said, I'm not asking you to do it right away. I'm asking you, remember, I am with you. You have nothing but to worry. It doesn't mean that you have the solution immediately, but I will bring you in the right direction. And this is to every person in life, even people that had challenges and who is not having challenges. And one of the most important things that Hashem is telling us, and this is so important for people to know, that we should never feel worried. It's easy to talk, very hard to do. What Hashem is telling us, I am telling you, don't worry, don't be afraid. That does not mean that we feel it. We feel right away, nothing to worry. Why shouldn't I worry? There are so many people are having so many issues. But Hashem said, I am telling you, don't worry, because I will help you in your personal things. Each one of you, think for yourself in a second. In your personal life, there are some moments that you feel that what's going to be? And you don't have a solution. You don't have, so Hashem said, I'm not asking you to find this solution right away. What I am asking you is, you should remember that I will find the solution for you. Sometimes you feel, I'm lonely. Many people, you cannot see that on them. There are people that could be very leaders and having all kind of things that you could think that they are so popular, but inside of them, they feel lonely. So Hashem said, you don't have to feel lonely because I am with you. Hashem, feels us more than we feel ourselves. This is reality because we feel ourselves as why is a person feeling lonely sometimes? Because you feel nobody understands you, nobody is with you, there's no hope. So there is somebody that understands you and feels you more than you feel yourself. And this is Hashem. This is an important thing. So this was a little bit a long introduction, but that was an introduction. When we started the day in the morning, the first thing when we open our eyes, open the eyes. Before we did anything, before we thinking, what is the first thing that we're telling Hashem is? We're telling him, thank you, Hashem. Thank you for what? Thank you for giving us a new day, for giving us a new life. But how could I feel like this? I know the problems and the issues. So that's why I recommend, should have a siddur with the English translation. It's a good idea. You will see that the whole entire prayer is built in such a way that is giving you an answers and everything that you feel during the whole entire day. The first thing when you open the eyes, what do? Modern. I'm thanking you, Hashem, for what? For giving me life, for giving me back the Neshama. What do you mean? I know, but it's going to happen in this day. No, you don't. You don't know. Because remember what he said just now? It's not you that makes what will happen during the day. It's Hashem. But Hashem wants you to allow him to lead you during the day. After this first thing that we say it even before we're washing the hand, you learned that already, so I won't go it. We're starting to build up to tell Hashem thank you, and not only to tell him thank you, but also to ask him he should come and help us during the day. Because how do you say a blessing in Lashon HaKodesh, in Hebrew? Baruch. But Baruch is having two interpretations. One interpretation is, I'm blessing you. Blessing you, Hashem. Why I'm blessing you? Because I'm thankful. What you do for me. But Baruch is also having another interpretation. And this is, I'm asking you, Hashem, to reveal yourself to me. Not only I'm telling you thank you, but please, I know that I need you, and I'm asking you, show it to me, help me to feel you. And that's why all the blessings that we have, we're starting with the word Baruch. Baruch means thank you, I'm blessing you, and Baruch means I'm asking you to come to me. So what is the first thing that we're saying after thank you, Hashem? What is the first blessing that we're telling Hashem? If you want me to tell you, I will tell you what.
Netilat Yadayim.
Netilat Yadayim. What is Netilat Yadayim? Netilat Yadayim means we're washing the hand. Why are we washing the hand? So you learn that probably that when a person is sleeping, then Hashem is giving life also during the night. But it's less revealed. And right away, when we wake up, Hashem is penetrating, we feel more his life, but it's still not completely removed. And the finger, you probably learned that, and the fingers of the hand is still not removed. And that's why the first thing is that we do after thanking Hashem, we are washing the hand. What is the idea? That right away when we're starting the day, Hashem is giving us himself completely. There's not even a place over the fingers or any place in the body that Hashem is not connecting himself with you. So the first thing is Netilat Yadayim. Netilat Yadayim means that there's not even one place in the body that Hashem is not fully connected to you. After Netilat Yadayim, what is the next blessing? What do you say? Asher Yatzar. So Asher Yatzar is a very powerful thing. This is telling us that the physical body is a miracle. First thing is we're talking after it's built up. After Hashem is putting himself completely with us, not even any place in the body that is not connected. He is creating our physical body in an unbelievable, miraculous way. It's not, a physical body is not like you're taking, for example, a computer, which is it's metals or plastic or all kind of things that it's not moving by itself. How are you making the computer to work? To connecting it to electricity, to all kind of things. But after the electricity is there, the physical metal and everything is the same thing. It's not alive. It's the electricity is making it to move. But the physical pieces of wood or any other thing, it's not alive. But when Hashem creates a human body, it's not in such a way. Human body Hashem made, not that he took something spiritual and he connected that with something physical. Thing is really not alive, but there is the inner spiritual thing. That's not the way that Hashem created our body. Hashem made it in a miraculous way that every part of our body is alive. If you see the words that Hashem is healing our body and he is making it in a miraculous way. Our body is, it's not like two entities together, it is one thing, and that's why we're thanking Hashem. After we're saying the Netilat Yadayim, we're thanking Hashem for creating our body in a miraculous way. That's why when we thinking on all the details that we're saying it in the blessing, that every detail in a human body is so needed and so exactly that even a small thing that we don't even pay attention to that could make the whole entire difference in the way that we feel. So again, like I said before, it's building up. So right now we are holding that Hashem, we're thanking Hashem and we're asking Hashem that our body should function in the way that we want it should really be, God forbid, nobody should know it. If, like I said before, if one small thing is not in the right place, your whole entire life feels different. After we said that, I assume, because I hear that you learned all of this, that's why I'm just summarizing it. It's true. After we said that, you're talking about the Neshama that Hashem is giving us, which is unbelievable. Neshama is Hashem is above any limits, but there are many, many levels that Hashem creates. An angel, you have an idea what an angel is? How many angels Hashem create? What do you think? How much? How much? Millions?
There's no number. I know that like there's like an angel for every like mixed together.
So I want you to know that Hashem creates no numbers of angels. No numbers means literally, not billions or trillions, but literally so many that there's no limits. And every angel, I want you to know, every angel is in a different level than the other one. In general, there are 3 levels, which means each level is having billions, no, not billions, but no numbers of angels. Now, I want you to know that an angel, even the lowest angel that a person will see, you will faint, because it's such a high level. You see, so I'm talking about the lowest from no numbers. We cannot tolerate it because it's such a high revelation. Like the first astronauts, I don't know the first, but from the first astronauts that they went to the space, and that was an experience that nobody saw before. And they saw from the space, they saw our world, and they were not Jewish, they didn't know much about Hashem, but they instantly expressed themselves and they said, God created the world, because they were so overwhelmed and they saw much less than an angel was seeing. Now, I want you to know that right now here in this room, there are so many angels, but we don't see them. If we would see them, we would collapse because it's such a high revelation. Here it's coming to the point that I want you to know that even though the angels are on such a high level, Hashem gave each one of us a Neshama, a soul, which is nothing to compare. Even the highest level of angels are nothing to compare to the soul, to the Neshama that Hashem gave us. Because the creation that Hashem created, which is called Neshama, this is above any other thing that could be. And each one of us is having it by being born for a Jewish mother. It doesn't matter what our behavior is. This is a present that Hashem is giving everyone that is being born to a Jewish mother. And that happened after our forefathers and our mothers learning these weeks about it, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, that before them, it was not like that. Before them, it was depend on your behavior. Some people had the shamot, some people didn't have the shamot. But after that, everyone is getting the neshama. Now, it does not make any difference how you are behaving. This is a present that Hashem is giving to everyone, and you cannot lose it. This present means that Hashem is connecting himself in such a strong connection. That's why Hashem is calling us his children. What is a child? The DNA of the parents. So Hashem is putting himself, the Neshama is himself. It's not like the angels that are not much, it's much more than much, lower than any angel is. And this is the fourth blessing that we're saying. There's so much to learn about that, but the fourth blessing is basically talking about that my God, which means, like I said before, some people feel that he did not behave in the right way, or doesn't matter what, that Hashem is not connected anymore to them. That's not true. My God, that's how we're starting it. Elokai, my God, Neshama shenatzata bi, Neshama that you gave me, Tehorahi. I'm not going into details because there's so many levels, even in the revelation, how much Hashem is revealing himself in us. Basically, this is the blessing. He's saying after we're thanking Hashem and we're asking him for creating us physically in such a wonderful way, he's saying that not only physically, but spiritually, we are one entity with him. I want you to know, I don't know if you know, but that there were even, not too many, but there were even popes that were Jewish. 1,000 years ago, in time of the Crusades, for a child, he was from a very great family, and a woman that she was like taking, when the parents went to the shul, and he was very talented, and it's a long story. She kidnapped him, hijacked him, and he grew up when he was 27. He was so talented, he became a pope. And later, it was at the time of the Crusades, he found out about that. It's a long story. And he decided that he's going back to be a Jew. He disappeared, they didn't know what happened. He got married, he returned back to Judaism. He was a very great person, he had 5 children, but he was killed by the Crusades when they killed many of the Jewish families. They didn't know him. So, and even today, I don't know if he's still alive, but even today, there is a person in Europe that he is a cardinal. I don't know if he's still alive. His name is Lustikel, and his parents was killed in the Holocaust, and he grew up. He became a cardinal. I have a son in Germany, Shaliach, and he met him. And he speaks Yiddish, but I don't know how much he knows about it. He's a Jew. He's having a neshama.
What's a cardinal?
Cardinal is the next thing after the Pope. It's a very high. After the Pope, when they getting a new Pope, so they have a certain amount of cardinals. That one of them is being elected to be the next Pope. But my uh, one of the things that I want to emphasize is that being even in such a way is having a neshama and is Jewish and Hashem is with him. Don't make a mistake. Hashem is with everyone, even people that are not Jewish also, but this is different purposes for everyone that is created in the world, what Hashem wanted. And we see the attitude that Hashem created Jewish people is to purify the world in such a way that eventually, when Mashiach will come, it's going to be good only. After that, you want to ask something? Yeah, go ahead. Tell me your name. I'm sorry, it's take me a little time.
That's okay. It takes me a little while too.
Okay.
Sarah Abigail.
What?
Sarah Abigail.
Good. Okay.
My question is like, how do you like really 100% like believe everything that you're saying? Like, I feel like everything that you're talking about and the whole like why we do the different prayers and things like that, it makes sense. And in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But like, how do you like truly believe and like have complete faith and like that's the best thing to do?
That's a very good question, and you do the right thing by asking this question because that's why we are here, not just to hear, but to understand. Okay, I want to tell you something. When I was a little younger, not much older than you, not 500 years more. But I remember when I came to learn, and I started to learn this kind of things, because before I was in a different yeshiva, then I wanted to learn more about this kind of things. And I had a very good teacher. And I had the same question. I asked him, so he told me something that you will probably have the same response. You don't have to have the answers for everything immediately. Absorb. And you will see that it will become not only a piece of knowledge, but this will become piece of you. And my response was that I did not accept it, but he was so right. And now I want to add a little more for this. Because that we are having a Neshama, like I explained a little bit, Neshama is the highest creation. It's not a creation, it's a part of Hashem. All the other things are creation. I spoke about angels before. This is really very high. But these are creations. The only thing which is not a creation is a Neshama, which is part of Hashem. Because of that, this is even things that, like you're asking now, you don't feel 100%. This is the situation, but the Neshama is giving you the recognition that it's going to take time. It's connected with few things, but it gives you the recognition. Try to do it very short. In Chicago, there was a Jewish guy, but he had this kind of attitude, that he's not accepting these things. He's not accepting, and he said he is wishing, his biggest wish for himself is that his daughter, he was Jewish, his daughter should marry a non-Jew because he doesn't believe in all of these things, the Neshama, and all of these things. And his wish became fulfilled. And she married a non-Jew. But non-Jewish people sometimes there are non-Jewish people that Hashem, before they were created, Hashem want them to be connected to the Jewish people. Everything, every detail, every person is planned out exactly. So this non-Jew that married his daughter, she wasn't she didn't know much about Judaism, but he started to be curious about Judaism, and he started to be interested in Judaism. But he didn't know, his wife couldn't give him too much information. So he asked his father-in-law, and he was so upset because he wanted his daughter should marry somebody that is non-Jew. And here, his non-Jewish son-in-law want him to tell him about Judaism. So he was very upset about it. But as I said before, that Hashem designed it in such a way who should have a Neshama. So Jewish people are having it right away when they're born. But non-Jewish people, not every, there are a non-Jew could become a Jew. It's not being encouraged. Hashem is not encouraging. If a non-Jew is coming to a Jewish court, he wants to be a Jew, the court is trying to discourage him, what do you need it? Hashem didn't say everyone has to be a Jew. Hashem said Jewish people, they have to do their things. But if he's insisting or she's insisting, then they're being accepted. So here, the husband, he was not Jewish, but he had, it said in the Torah that any non-Jew that is becoming a Jew, even before she was Jewish, there was something that Hashem created that she belonged. She was not Jewish until she's doing the process in the right way, but she belonged there. So in this case, what happened was that he insisted, and his father-in-law was very upset, and at the end, he decided he must do it. And it was in Chicago. He went to a very big rabbi, but a very big rabbi told him, what do you need? What do you need it? What do you have to be? You could be a very good person. You're not a Jew, but you have to. But he insisted, he had in him something that he wanted very much. But the rabbi did not want to accept him. And then somebody told him, you know what? I could tell you there is one very big rabbi that is, this rabbi that is rejecting you is his student. So write to him a letter. He didn't know anything, and he wrote. And that was the rabbi. I don't know how much you know about the rabbi. Very great, very unusual person. And he wrote to him that he wants to be a Jew, and the rabbi doesn't want it. And you're talking about challenges. So Hashem made a challenge that this son-in-law that wanted to be a Jew, he got cancer at that time. And the doctors told him that he is not going to live more than 3 months. So he's hiding. He wants at least to have the experience to be a Jew. He wants to die as a Jew. He had a special feeling in that. So the Rebbe wrote him a letter that the Judaism is not encouraging yet, but if somebody really wants it, of course, it's something very high, the connection with Hashem and everything. And the Rebbe gave him a whole blessing, and he said, go to this rabbi and tell him he should convert you. And then the Rebbe wrote one letter writing something about that the doctor said, I'm waiting to hear cancer that he got. I'm waiting to hear good news from you. So he was so excited. And he didn't make an appointment even because this rabbi rejected him so many times. He was a very important man, this rabbi. He just came in with a ladder of rabbi, showed it to him. So this rabbi, he was Rabbi Shisselman, he was so overwhelmed. He told him, you know, you didn't pay attention, even though the rabbi is writing you at the end. So I'm waiting to hear good news, physical good news. He didn't understand I told you before that there's revelation of the Neshama. But some people are having a higher revelation from Hashem. So this rabbi told him, you know that this last line here is saying that you will get cured. And he converted him because he told him to do it. And after that, short time after that, his whole entire, I'm trying to make it short, situation changed. The doctor said he's not going, the doctors, to live more than 3 months. He lived for years and he had grandchildren and everything. So my point is, sometimes there are things that if you want to understand them logically, you won't have right away. But because of a Neshama, for example, you are going to get it. You are going to recognize, not to understand. If somebody will ask you, you are alive? You say, of course, what are you talking about? Could you explain to me what is life? What is life? I'm asking you, could you explain to me what life is?
You're asking me to explain it?
Yeah.
It depends your definition of life. Is life breathing, your body working, or is life having kids and family and
No, I'm talking about the breathing and your body is working. This is only a result. Since you're alive, you're breathing, and but what is life? Explain me what is life. Not the results. You cannot explain it, but you have no question about it. You're not convinced. You know, you recognize this is what the Neshama is doing. So don't be bothered. I'm saying it to you, I'm saying it to everyone. That sometimes there are things that you cannot explain it, but eventually, this is the part of the Hashem's revelation, and we didn't learn about this. The next blessings is that as more that we fulfill what Hashem is telling us, it's becoming more part of our feeling. So not everything you could explain logically, but you are convinced, not only convinced, it's part of you. Like I gave you the example with life, okay? And the goal is, like I said in the beginning, the goal is to know step by step. You don't have to have all the answers or nothing. And this I'm saying about physical lives, challenges, and everything. We have to know that we are not running our life. Hashem is doing it. Of course, Hashem is giving us mitzvot and all of these things. This helps us. It's like, God forbid, if somebody is sick physically, and you're taking medication, somebody will say, I don't want to take medication. I don't believe in it. It doesn't matter what the reason is. You need it. Or we don't have to talk about medication. We could talk about food, healthy food, exercises, all of these things. These are basic things that we have to have. So Hashem is giving us all the tools that we could not only we could, that we are reaching them. And the more that we have it, people went to unbelievable challenges in our time. And because they had this mitzvot and the tools and all of this, they were able to go through. I know a person that was 20 years in communist Russia in jail under the unbelievable, impossible to understand how he survived. He survived because, of course, Hashem made a miracle, but also because he had the tools for doing it. Okay, then after that we had, so what do you say? Tell us something. Yeah. It's a good life.
Yeah.
Good.
What do you want me to say?
That's what I want you to say.
It's a great life.
Yeah, the natural smile that you have always on your face.
Rabbi.
That's as Hashem said. You know, so many people went through such a horrible life, and what kept them is because they knew. Rabbi answered people that went through terrible things, that he told them, don't start with understanding everything. Do what Hashem wants. Do be happy. What do you mean be happy? How could I be happy? Be happy because you don't rely on yourself. You rely on Hashem. Okay, then spoke today about different things. Then we have a whole set of blessings that are very, very important. People are taking for granted that we have the blessing. You open my mind. You give me, the first blessing is thanking Hashem that you give us mind. And God forbid, people take it for granted, things that are just impossible to tolerate it. It's going on today. I had few very hard months, but there were days that I couldn't move. It was nothing, but I couldn't move. It was like you're picking up 10,000 pounds, just nothing, couldn't move. And God forbid, people, they could be perfect, they have everything, but their mind is not working, or they cannot see clear. You cannot stand. You could be a healthy person and be taking it for granted, all of these things. So all of these blessings here that I'm not going into the details because we learned them already, all of these blessings are, the purpose is to show us that we should not take anything for granted. And also, we should not be discouraged if something happened, because in the same way that something, God forbid, that happens, it could change. We have to remember, this is one of the biggest important things. We have to remember that it's not that we are running our life. It's Hashem. But of course, Hashem said we have to do our part. But after we do our part, we have to know that it's because Hashem is doing it for us. All of these blessings here, like Hashem is opening the eyes, Hashem is making you to be able to walk. This is little things. We are not realizing it because healthy people, Baruch Hashem, you get up, jump, getting dressed, walk, you talk, but all of these things are steady, constant miracles that Hashem is doing them. doing it to us, because we know what happens with all of these things. So all of these blessings, it's being built up, everything, how our life is completely connected with Hashem. Physically, because physically is very, very important. If we feel good physically, then we could do the right thing that we want in our life. And spiritually. So all of these blessings that we're saying here in the beginning, like we mentioned, are going all of these details, and we're thanking Hashem, and we're asking Hashem to continue to connect himself to us. We have a blessing, Malbi Shalomim. Hashem is giving us clothes. It doesn't mean only, yes, it means also physical that Hashem is giving us clothes, but sometimes there's a person that you have clothes and you have everything, but you're not healthy, you cannot even wear these clothes. So every detail in our life has to do with Hashem, and we're asking if we filling our thoughts in such a way constantly, the whole entire day. There are so many people that are working hard, the goal is to make a lot of money and to make all kind of things, but they are still not happy, because you could have everything and it means nothing. The idea is to remember that there's a purpose for our life, and the purpose is to bring light in our life and in the whole entire surrounding. You know, the Torah said that around each one of us, if we are doing the right energy, then there is the right environment. So the Yaakov Avinu, that when he entered in the place, there was a smell of Gan Eden around him. And there are some people that are not behaving the right thing, so they're spreading destruction. Now, we don't see it because we are limited, but it happens. It happens. Everything, like I told you before. Here in this room, there are so many things that are happening right now, but we don't see it because Hashem doesn't want us to see it. But there are people, they could see it. Very, very great people. When you are standing near them, they could feel very pleasant because of your personality and your behavior. And sometimes, God forbid, when some people are having not the best behavior, and for them, it is a torture to stay near them, but great people are not allowed to think any bad thing about anyone, because if you think every person is having a responsibility to make everyone in the right environment, in the right behavior. So if you're a great person and you think negative about another person, you're not a great person. Your goal is to make everyone to be in a positive way, not in a negative way. It said that a small righteous man loves a bad person. If he's a bigger righteous person, he loves even a worse person than that. And Mashiach will love a person that you cannot even imagine how bad he is, but he will love him. Because that's the whole idea. The purpose of each one of us is to purify the world, to make the sun should shine. And if we're thinking negative about another person, then we are doing the wrong thing. our purpose is to bring life and light in the whole entire world. Of course, we need the tools. That's why we need the like I told you before, when you're eating the right food, the right exercises, the right things, that builds you up. But if you are ignoring it, it's the opposite. Hashem is giving us a tool. But Hashem put us here in this world in order to purify not only ourselves, but purify the world. And then, why did Hashem create the world? What do you think? Why did Hashem create the world?
Because he was bored.
Because what?
He was bored.
He was?
I think he was bored.
He was bored. Oh.
He wanted something interesting, you know?
No. I want you to talk. I want you to express yourself. Of course. Of course. I want to ask you, that's already too late to start with this. I want to ask you a question. How did Hashem create himself?
Oh, Shalom.
How did he create himself? Could you imagine, you see this could you imagine 3 feet from here, suddenly by itself, such a thing will happen? Nothing could happen by itself, right? Nothing could happen by itself. So how did Hashem create himself?
It just like changes everything, because then there's like a higher, like there's another creator then, if you think about it that way.
But the highest.
But there has to be.
Let's talk the highest. How did the highest create?
Yeah, there always has to be something.
So I want to tell you, it's a little too late to start about it. I want to tell you, everything is limited. And that's why nothing could be created by itself. Nothing could be created by itself. So some people will say, what do you mean? I don't know, where was that, in China, you think it was made? Let's say, doesn't matter where, in any place, the person that made this doesn't know, he or she doesn't know what's going on with it now, right? So some people are saying the same thing with Hashem. He created the world, but he doesn't know what's going on now. But the reality is that nobody created that. The person that made this took material that was existing already, changed the shape, put few chemicals together, but he didn't add anything new that was not existing before. The only thing that is really new is what Hashem did. Hashem took nothing and he creates something. And only Hashem could do such a thing because he had no limits. Because in the second that you say that he had a limit, how did he create himself? So this itself is telling you that we don't know even what does it mean not to have a limitation, because in our mind, everything is limited. Even if you're taking the Atlantic Ocean and then taking out 1 drop of water from this, 1 drop of water compared to the Atlantic Ocean is also limited, because if you will take billions of drops, you will see that it's less. The only thing that has no limits is Hashem. If Hashem has no limits, he's not bored. Because in the second that he said that he's bored, that makes some limit. But this he started with this is a whole thing to explain. Okay. The main thing is that we have to be always know that it's going to be good, not in a year, but right now. And we should not get frustrated, even if we see the things are not so easy, but as more that we connecting ourselves to Hashem, and that's the purpose of the prayers, is our life is going to be more saturated and happy. See you in Yerushalayim with Mashiach Tzidkenu. Okay, I'm sorry, I am not so good with knowing everyone's name right away.